Good morning friends, myself Deepali Harchande. Today we are going to see the second part of the lesson number 3rd, that is key concepts and issues since 1991 humanitarian issues. In the last lecture we have seen about this Rio Earth Summit 2012. Also it has been called as a Rio 20. Now we'll say the Rio 20 in elaborate form. The Rio Summit or the Rio Earth Summit is also called as the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. The Rio Conference or the Rio Earth Summit sought to create international cooperation on development issues. It tried to raise public awareness on the need to integrate environment and development. As we have seen, the Janeiro Earth Summit basically is working for the environmental issues and to protect the environment. In June 1992, more than 100 heads of states met in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for the first International Earth Summit. The summit was convened for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and social economic development of the global level. The assembled leaders signed the Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21 for achieving sustainable development in the 21st century. Now we'll see what was Agenda 21. It is the declaration signed by world leaders in 1992 at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. It is also known as UNCED. Yes, UNCED means United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which took place at Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. It aims at achieving global sustainable development. It is an agenda to combat environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation on common interests, mutual needs, and shared responsibilities. One major objective of Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. Now we'll see what does it mean by sustainable development. Sustainable economic development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of future generations. That is known as sustainable development, which we have seen in the first part of the lecture. As we all know, there are 3 elements of this atmosphere: hydrosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. As we all know, the 3 elements of environment, that is hydrosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. These three elements we have learned in the previous lecture. Now we'll go with the environmental changes or the important environmental concerns. In that, the few points has been included, that is climate change, deforestation, pollution, and population. These are the major concerns of environment. Now we'll see one by one in detail. Very first is climate change. Greenhouse gas emission are the main cause of climate change. This has resulted in extreme weather events such as droughts, wildfires, heat waves, and flooding. Now, pollution is also a part and parcel of this climate change. Air pollution and climate change are closely linked. Greenhouse gas emissions that are warming the planet are also creating smoggy conditions in major cities that endanger public health. Now we'll move towards the deforestation. Because of deforestation, the earth is in danger. In deforestation, if we want to see what is the things included in deforestation, forests are important as they absorb CO2, carbon dioxide, that would otherwise escape into the atmosphere and worsen global warming. Cutting down trees also threatens animals and humans who rely on healthy forests and sustain themselves. Due to the deforestation, we are facing a major problem, that is water scarcity. Water scarcity means shortage of water or shortage of water supply. As the population increases and climate change causes more droughts, water scarcity is becoming more of an issue. Access to clean, safe drinking water is an important problem faced by the population today, and the same problem is facing by the world. And as we know, the human being or the living things could not be survive on the earth without water. So this is a very crucial issue, crucial problem that we need to focus, that we need to solve on a priority level. Here I have put few examples of drought, floods. These are the disaster, we can say, flood, because of climatic changes. This disaster has happened. See, heat waves, wildfires. In Marathi we are calling it vanva. So vanva इथं पेटलेला आहे. Wildfires, heat waves, then drought and flood situation. All these problems we all are facing. The human being, all living beings, living things, they are facing the same problem, and it is in danger to the earth also. Now there are 4 types of pollution: land pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, and water pollution. Here are few examples of noise pollution, air pollution, land pollution, and water pollution. We all have learned about these pollutions till 9th and 10th standard. So we all know about the causes and consequences of all these pollutions. Now, this is the deforestation picture. Due to the deforestation, we are increasing pollution level on the earth. Then water scarcity, already we have learned. See, water scarcity. In rural areas, the people they are facing more than the urban areas because of the less facilities in rural areas. See, there is a long queue for the water. There is an imbalance in water cycle due to deforestation, and because of that the human being they are facing the problem of water scarcity. It is difficult to imagine that we may suffer from water scarcity. The availability of water resources varies over space and time, mainly due to the variations in seasonal and annual precipitation. But water scarcity in most cases is caused by overexploitation, excessive use, and unequal access to water among different social groups. Water scarcity may be an outcome of large and growing population and consequent greater demand for water and unequal access to it. A large population means more water not only for domestic use but also to produce more food. Hence, to facilitate higher food grain production, water resources and being overexploited to expand irrigated areas and dry season agriculture. Loss of biodiversity threatens food security and population health. Climate change is also a major contributor to biodiversity. Students, now you think about it. What can we all do to protect our environment? You need to think about the measures and you need to think how we can solve all these problems. Also, you find out what are the different initiatives taken by the Indian government to protect our environment. So, in suggest few projects has been implemented by Indian government to protect our environment. Students, we have seen till yet the climatic change, pollution, deforestation, water scarcity, and protect biodiversity. Now we'll see the next part, that is poverty. First of all, we'll see what does it mean by poverty. Let's see the definition of poverty. Definition: poverty is not having enough material possessions or income for a person's need. Poverty may include social, economic, and political elements. Absolute poverty is the complete lack of the means necessary to meet basic personal needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. The threshold at which absolute poverty is defined is always about the same, independent of the person's permanent location or era. If we see in a simple words, the poverty means the lack of food, water, shelter, clothing, and sanitization, etc. There is also a monetary based consideration of what is poverty. Poverty is therefore a state of an individual, family, or society where people are unable to provide for their basic necessities of life. It focuses on the earnings of an individual that would help him to live a relatively comfortable life. These are material aspects of life. A state is expected to ensure that the people are provided for the necessary material goods for their survival. Here are few pictures of poverty, and India want to develop in all aspects, in all walks of life. See few pictures I have shown here. Picture shows the poverty of India, rural area poverty. See, they could not meet the basic needs of shelter even. See the structure of houses. Here they cannot fulfill the need of water also, scarcity of water. These are few pictures of poverty. In this map, you will get the ratio of poverty in various states of India. The dark red color and brown color shows us the high poverty ratio of states, and the pink color, orange color, faint color, it shows the low level of poverty ratio. This is the situation of our country. You can observe here high poverty ratio, high poverty level is Raipur, Ranchi, then after that Imphal, Bhopal, Patna. These are the high poverty regions. Followed after that Lucknow, then Bangalore. These are few states where poverty ratio is high. Now you observe the map and note down the low poverty level or low poverty ratio areas and high poverty ratio areas. Here I have given one bar graph. With the help of bar graph, we can come to know that what are the causes of poverty, why the poverty ratio is high in various states or in India. See, there are few reasons of poverty. For poverty, very first is discrimination. Due to discrimination, we have 51% of poverty level. Then second is unfair economic system, and last, lack of educational opportunities. These are the three reasons on strong liberals, and due to that we are facing poverty in our country. Next, strong conservatives. There are also three reasons. Very first is poor life choices, then lack of a work ethic, breakdown of families, and last but very important is drugs or alcohol. And because of the addiction, the people, they are driven or they are leading their life towards the poverty. So these are the few reasons. Because of that we have a poverty ratio, poverty level in our country also. Here is a picture of child labors, tracing the consequences of child poverty. In India also we have the child poverty, Here is a picture. This is also one picture. I have put forth here to show the level of poverty, to show how the discrimination leads people towards the poverty. There are few views about poverty. This focuses on both the material and non-material aspects of life. Here the focus is on human well-being through sustainable societies in social, economic and political terms. As per one research, the United Nations has disclosed this information that the poorest 40% of the world's population accounts for 5% of global income. The richest 20% accounts for 3/4 of world income. 3. According to UNICEF, 22,000 children die each day due to poverty. India is taking steps to eradicate poverty and to make people able to survive in this country. The approach to the concept of development is usually looked at through a set of social and political values. The purpose of development is to ensure welfare of the people. For example, development can be associated with economic growth. To eradicate poverty and for the development, the India has started implementing few strategies. India has adopted free market economy in promoting development. Already we have learnt about free market economy in the second chapter. The former would be classified as socialist while the latter as capitalist. Both these are traditional approaches to development. Along with the free market economy, we have adopted few strategies. There are 3 strategies or 3 aspects of development which we have been adopted. Very first is modernization of economy. In that, industrialization comprises. Second strategy which India has adopted, that is self-reliance, and third is socialist pattern of society with equity and social justice. Now we'll go one by one. Very first is modernization of economy, and as I said that the industrialization is a part and parcel of this modernization. So here are few examples of industrialization. Due to the industrialization, not only India but other countries, they also started developing in various fields. See, these are a few pictures of industrialization. This is the very first engine has been discovered. Next is the picture of industrialization. See, these are few pictures of industrialization, and because of industrialization, the market economy also increasing. Then we have that development in various fields. We could see the progress even. Non-traditional view about development focuses on both material and non-material aspects of poverty. It stresses on political participation from grassroots level, ensuring that all sections of the community are represented in the decision-making process. there was a new challenge in front of the government, that is to tackle material aspect of poverty. Thus, the role of state was targeted to increasing economic prosperity through industrialization or focus on agriculture, as well as to generate employment opportunities to increase the per capita income of the people. How we achieve economic prosperity? If we want to achieve economic prosperity, yes, absolutely, we have to look forward the industrialization and agricultural development. For the agricultural development, all countries they have adopted new plan, that is greenhouse strategy or greenhouse plan. At that greenhouse plan for the 5 years plan, and through that plan the country or the India has focused on economic development, and finally it has focused on the social development and the status of living of people. So this is the one strategy has been utilized, has been adopted by India. As we have seen that the industrialization also increase the economic prosperity. Industrialization has taken place earlier in other countries, but in India the industrialization has had taken place late. Along with the industrialization and agricultural aspects, the government has started generating employment opportunities to increase per capita income of the people. Due to the job opportunity, people can earn by themselves. They can fulfill their needs of they can fulfill their basic needs of food, shelter and clothing, and that is not enough to feed and clothe a family. Not having a school or a clinic to go to, not having the land on which to grow one's food, or a job to earn one's living, nor having access to credit. With this 5-year plan, we could eradicate the poverty from country. Now we'll see the modernization of the economy, and in that modernization of economy along with industrialization, green revolution is also a part of this economy. So let's see few examples of green revolution. Red green revolution. See here how the country is enriched with the agricultural field. Green revolution would provide employment to the growing labor force. During the Nehru years, the focus was on industrialization and not on agricultural production. Land reform and irrigation were looked at as the means to achieve agricultural growth. The second aspect of development was self-reliance. Now, self-reliance was associated with India's freedom movement. One of the aspects of self-reliance was import substitution strategy. The focus was to develop indigenous industry. India did take foreign aid from other countries, but the aid was utilized mainly in the public sector industry. And the last aspect of development was socialist pattern of society with equity and social justice. India adopted the approach of planning for development. The planning commission was created that was expected to prepare 5-year plans for the development of country. In this 5-year plan, the importance was given to public sector industry, not the private sector. As we have seen, the private sectors has been controlled by the few individuals, few capitalist people, but the public sector or public industries which are controlled by the government or common people, they can be a part of these public sectors. So because of that, we have given, India has given importance to the public sector industries. The Indian concept of socialism was based on the promotion of the welfare state and employment generation. This was the approach to tackle the problem of poverty in India. So students, in this way we have seen 3 aspects of development in India and what are the strategies and policies we are implementing for the development, for the progress of India. India's development strategy has evolved over the years. It has reflected the growing strength of the economy and developments in the world economy. In this way, we have completed this part of lesson number 3. These all are the humanitarian issues we have learned in the 3rd lesson, that is key concepts and issues since 1991. Thank you.